Okay, so this is my first web user group meeting, and thank you for having me. So a little bit of background. My name is Scott Gregory. I'm a Deputy Director here at Department of Technology, and I'm now heading up the new Office of Digital Innovation and Technology Engagement. How many of you are aware that that was announced this week? Good. Everybody doesn't know. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Richard. I really appreciate you raising your hand a little bit. So I want to talk to you about that, but also about some key points that we're going to be focusing on as we develop out this office and what that's going to mean for the web development community and how you can certainly participate in that. So, hang on, lost you. There we go. So, the Office of Digital Innovation and Technology Engagement is going to be focusing primarily on items related to open data and open source technology engagement and use within the state of California. Really focusing on building applications that add value to civic engagement and streamlining government processes. Now, it's sometimes humorous to hear innovation and government in the same sentence or even in the same paragraph. At least I think it is. But we're going to change that conversation. We're looking at new and innovative ways in which we're going to employ open source technology and principles of open data and data management to deliver some really interesting things. So the first thing that I want to talk about today with you is open data. Now, open data has been an initiative that's been in play for a year and a half, 2 years. GovOps has been spearheading this, and Department of Technology has been supporting on the technology end of helping support for training and the creation of metadata and the development of ways for departments to integrate publicly available information into a single source repository where government, citizens, and business can search, discover, and use this kind of information to build their own applications, develop commerce, or just be more informed as citizens as they engage and interact with their government. So one of the things that happened that was kind of a watershed moment for us as a team was the Green Gov Challenge. Now, have any of you heard of the Green Gov Challenge? Hey, man. So we have one in the back. So the Green Gov Challenge was a codathon. And the codathon took place, I believe it was late October 23rd-ish. And it was hosted at Department of General Services. And at that codathon, we had citizen coders show up, right? It wasn't open to government employees to come in and participate, but we opened the doors to approximately 70 individuals that teamed up and developed some really compelling applications focused on sustainability. You know, what can the state do to become more sustainable around energy consumption or renewable product purchasing, or a better way to manage our vast fleets of vehicles and other kinds of apparatus. So in 2 days, the codathon was 2 days long, there were 14 applications developed, all on open source technologies. Now for us, we thought, gosh, this is awesome, right? Okay, we're getting all this really interesting synergy going around our data that we provided and some applications that were developed. We were anticipating some visualizations, maybe some interesting charts. No, these were full-blown applications built on open source technology. And that was one of the primary drivers of us starting to investigate looking into building out a capacity within state government to be able to manage and benefit from open source technology. So one thing I want to show everybody is I want to show you first am I doing this right? Just escape and then, okay. Chrome? Okay. I want to share with you what that site looks like, and you guys can go to it if you'd like. It's called greengov.data.ca.gov, and this is what we used as our launching point for these different folks, these citizen coders, to come in and start to work with. Now, the data is broken down based on different themes, of course, so buildings, fleet, recycling, grants, location, these are mapped locations, Also on top of that, we also added a tremendous amount of geographic information that the state manages through my office as well. And this is me cut off halfway here. But we have some of the winners here here in the front. And I want to share with you the application that that won. And in fact, there was a $25,000 total amount of prize money that was allocated to the winners. The first place, I think it was 10. First place was 10, second 7,500, and third, so on and so forth. So anyway, you're welcome to go through this. This is a breakdown of all kinds of different data sets that were supplied by organizations like Air Resources Board, EPA proper as an agency, Department of Technology, DGS, Energy Commission. Tremendous amount of information was shared. Now, here's kind of the interesting part. When this information was shared, we didn't know. We had no idea what was going to come out of it until folks started to mash information and data together around a specific problem. Like, for example, the one that I'm going to show you in a second here is called greenbuyer.org. Greenbuyer.org was built off of several data sets that were coming from all kinds of different locations, from different departments. So to the departments, they're just disparate data sets. Not great. You know, we do this every day. Stamp, move on to the next. But when we put it in a format that could be used in a machine-readable format and created a way for really bright folks to get a hold of, data scientists and researchers and encoders, it was amazing what they pulled together. Let me, give me a sec. I'm going to pull this application up as well and share that with you. Let's see, right now, okay, so this application was one of the winners. This is Greenbuyer. So they delivered this to us. This was written in a language called Ruby. It seems some head nods. Some folks understand and know what Ruby is. Using MySQL on the back end and also using the Rails framework. Now, if I had that conversation with most developers in the state, people would be like, "Hey, I've heard of it, but what do we do with that?" Right? So we kind of had the same reaction in a way. So we went to school on it and we learned what it was, and it's, you know, in a way, it's a very powerful language. A lot of interesting ways to render information, but we also had to figure out a way, how do we house and manage this? How do we care and feed for it? And that is what was one of the drivers behind the next topic I want to share with you, is the California Innovation Lab. So everyone's heard of CalCloud, right? So within CalCloud, we partitioned off a portion of that for organizations to build, develop, and deploy solely open-sourced technology solutions. So you'll be able to authenticate into it. You'll be able to build from a vast library of open-source technologies, everything from operating systems to database to code to applications, and just build them and feel okay with that. It's an experimentation, right? It's a lab. It's a place where you can feel comfortable to actually fail and then learn from that and then build upon it. So you're going to see soon, at least, you know, within the next 6 months, this concept begin to mature more and more to where many organizations are going to begin to participate in this. We're also reaching out beyond government to some of these civic engagement groups like Code for America or Code for SAC. Have any of you heard of those groups before? Yeah? Good, great. Yes, I see the smile. Yes. Yeah, that's wonderful, because, you know, these groups are very much focused on the civic engagement side of things. You know, in government, we sometimes get a little bit myopic. You know, we have this one job and this one job only, and we're going to do it. Sometimes we do it great, sometimes not so great. But by encouraging a conversation between these like-minded individuals that are not serving the government but want to serve government, I'm really excited about some of the opportunity that's going to come from that. So again, we're in the very, very early beginning stages of this. The takeaways here are a new office was developed. This office is going to seek to innovate in government, It's going to seek to acquire participation from civic engagement organizations, from industry, from government, from all parties that are interested in being part of this new conversation. Open data is going to be intricately interwoven into this. And we're going to have a place for people to be able to build and deploy and get creative. So we're really looking forward to the promise of this new opportunity. So with that, I know that was a little bit short, but I wanted to leave it open for some questions. If folks have any questions or thoughts, I will open it up. Yeah.
What's the mechanism for getting information about the resources out to people? Yeah. Most people haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I say tongue in cheek. I mean, I'm not surprised that folks haven't heard about it because it's very, very new. We've kind of been keeping it low key, but one of the things that you'll see soon is a release of a refreshed data.ca.gov. So I'm sure folks are familiar with that. We're going to be changing that page and changing the entire back end on how open data is managed in the state. Right now we're working with a group called Socrata, which manages this platform as a software as a service. But data.ca.gov is going to be a landing page for all things open data and all things innovation in California. So you'll be able to find the latest news. You'll also be able to see little vignettes of how we've taken some of this information and built really interesting value-added tools that can be embedded in your own websites. And code, links to our GitHub page. And the whole idea behind this is we're trying to blow open the doors of development and really get folks excited and engaged in things that are outside of their organization to see how that might benefit them. It's going to be really, I think, really a lot of fun. So on the other hand, maybe I'm seeing things. Any other questions? Yeah.
I've encountered a few IT managements at my where there's still open source software in particular, even really well supported, widely used open source software and resources that get approved. Yeah.
Yes, Colin, for sure. Yeah, we're as part of the development of this office. Again, this is, you know, we're building this a bit up, but there's going to be many resources now. It's a paradigm shift, right? I mean, government is used to closed source systems. They have a neck they can go and strangle, right? Microsoft blew this thing up. Let me go find my rep. Open source is different, right? It's community-based. It's community-developed. It's community-curated. It's going to be an education process, definitely. But, you know, I think that the time for the state to change in this regard is, you know, long past overdue. Building yesterday, tomorrow is not what this office is going to be doing. We're going to be looking at leaning forward and building new ways to approach technology. Open source is one. You know, it's the right tool for the right job. You know, open source might solve everything, but there might be a hybridized approach. You know, we're not trying to force feed anything. We're trying to provide an environment where folks can get engaged with this. Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, this environment is not probably created. How would someone, myself or anybody else, be able to get an opportunity to work something? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's going to be very similar to the intake process that we have here as a department. We would submit a service request. We would grant access to that. We're looking at different ways in terms of authentication, Active Directory, or well, I would just say primarily Active Directory. I know other departments manage their own AD, but we're working around that. And the environment. This is kind of how the process would go. You would get cleared to get into the lab, provide you authentication to get into it. Then you're going to be encountered with a series of screens that are wizard-driven. And it's very much like if you've ever provisioned a server within Amazon or Microsoft Azure, it's going to be a very similar experience to where you're going to say, okay, I want this server with this capacity. I want this operating system. I want this database. So there's a menu of items. Now, when we say open source, that's a huge, huge universe of technologies out there. And we're going to manage them to a point where, to where it's manageable. I don't want to put 1,000 different offerings out there when, maybe a % of those would be utilized. So we're looking at a technology called Mirantis. Mirantis is an open stack, open source provisioning environment that allows folks to do this very same thing. Amazon uses it, Google uses it. It's a very well documented, very well supported provisioning platform, and oh, by the way, it's open source as well. So it'll be very cool. So that's basically how it's going to happen. You're going to come in, we're going to go through the typical intake process. You can work with your account rep to do that from Department of Technology, and we can get you set up within that environment to start working and playing. Yeah, Richard.
Is there like a site, someone like this one or whatever, that describes how you ensure this environment what's available?
Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, the data.ca.gov, there will be more information that's going to be, yeah, I would look to data.ca.gov is your point source for all information related to our office, open source, and open data. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, one from online.
Okay.
How lab will there be a fee schedule or support services?
No. Anybody shocked by that? Yeah. No, there will not. There will not be. There you go. Anything else? So if you have any questions that might come to you later, again, my name's Scott Gregory. You can reach me at, Michael, I don't know if we have my contact info up there. I'll give you three ways. Email scott.gregory, Gregory, at state.ca.gov. My office number is 916-431-5449, and my cell is 916-284-2340. Thank you very much.